Greetings everyone, welcome to Advance. This game was played in US Chess Championship with the black pieces. We have the man in form, Fabiano Caruana, facing off against a prodigy. His name is Dariusz Swiercz. Fabi has already been playing spectacular chess. I mean, winning the Grand Chess Tour wasn't good enough. He went on to actually, in the US Chess Championship, the first round he played against his second and absolutely crushed him. Now, there is a huge rating gap between these two. There's almost 300 points. Fabi is about to reach 2800 once again. So let's see how this game turns. Here, just going for this e4. We have c6 now. Fabi chooses to go for d5 against Dariusz. And here in this position, just e5, going for the advanced variation. We have bishop to f5, knight to f3, and just e6 in this position, locking down that piece. Now after developing it, we have bishop to e2, knight to e7, and here just c3. Just developing all those pieces. Somewhere along the line you're gonna want to play, just pushing those pawns forward and try to just take some space here. Just h6 was played, not allowing the bishop to jump in. Castles now, knight to d7, and here just going for knight b2. So very weird setup here, because you'll have trouble castling, but maybe Fabi has something in mind. Here just going for queen to c7, and now just rook to e1 was played. You could have also gone for a move like a4 immediately. I mean, if Fabi is not going to take space, maybe you can just do so. Here after a5 you play rook to e1, bishop to h7, and here just knight to b3 after knight to f5. And you can see, I mean, it's difficult to already try to get those pieces out there, because here you have to move the bishop back to be able to get the knight to f5, and then you're going to have to develop the bishop as well, maybe try and castle in this position. So it's already a little bit difficult. A move like g4 already makes sense, and after knight to e7 you play this bishop to d3, just developing that piece. Maybe you just trade in this position, and that would be absolutely fine. And after trading, maybe you'll have some sort of an attack. Maybe you can just move the king, push those pawns, try to go for an attack. But also maybe in some lines you would want to castle queenside, but it's highly unlikely. But after queen to c7, here just rook to e1 was played, not going for anything crazy. Here just a6 and just knight to f1. Now just going for c5, we have knight to g3, and here bishop to h7. So that piece was attack now has to be moved. Bishop to d3 in this position, asking for a trade. We do trade in this position. Bishop captures, queen captures, and now just going for this knight to c6, and here just bishop to d2, just developing that piece. You could have also gone for a move like bishop to e3, which makes much more sense. I mean, why not just develop it to e3 right away? But c captures could be a problem, because after c captures you play knight to b4, attacking the queen. After queen all the way back to f1, you can see that that's a passive position for a queen. Hey, queen to c4 if you ask for a trade. Hey, knight to d2, queen captures, rook captures, a5 now. So you can see that you get some easy development even with the black pieces. But up knight to c6, here just bishop to d2, not going for all of this. Here just bishop to e7 now, h3, and Fabi does go for this. Fabi goes for a queenside castle in this position, because the position definitely called for it. There was no a4 played, there was no b4 played in this position. So once you decide to actually not go for those pawn pushes right away, Fabi is definitely going to castle here, because if he had chances of to try and castle right from the opening towards kingside, I mean, he would not have definitely opted for this opening. But if he did, and now he castled queenside, so definitely move like a4 did make sense previously. But here just rook a to b1 now, preparing to push it. But preparing, I mean, you could have just pushed right away, but the thing is that it's just too aggressive, and definitely you don't want to go maybe a bit too aggressive on Fabi. He's gonna crush you. But maybe that was the way to go, because in this position this king to b8, a nice prophylactic move, always helpful, especially when you have access to the dark squares. So here just b4 now, finally going for that pawn push. We have c4 closing up the position, queen to c2, and just b5 in this position. So then you have to just get the queen here, rook here, maybe just try to do something. It's very highly unlikely that you will be able to, because now the entire structure has been compromised, and you don't have any breakthroughs in this position. So are you going to shift the focus towards kingside? Well, let's just see, because here just a4 was played. Now just comes king to b7, a5 in this position. Here just going for this rook to g8. We have queen to d1, queen to d8, and knight to h2. And the thing is that maybe white doesn't have a plan, but black has a very subtle plan. What you want to do is challenge the authority of these very nice pawns, and maybe just push towards the king side, go for an attack all out, and yeah, black will be doing just fine here in this position. A rook to h7 was played. Now just comes this queen to e2. We have g6. Now just knight to f1. All of these moves would have been absolutely fantastic if they were played, but they were not. Bishop to h4 makes a lot of sense. rook b to d1, and here after bishop captures, f captures, you play g5. You're gonna want to push those pawns towards the king side, get the queen in, you'll have a very fine game. But the thing is that here, even though engine evaluation shows it as a little bit of an advantage towards white, but still, I really like this position. But here after knight to h2, here just g6 comes, and now just queen to f3, and now just going for this rook to h7, we have queen to e2, h5, and now just f4. So Dariusz is definitely trying to push those pawns and trying to create something here towards the king side, but it's highly unlikely. I mean, you have castled here. Basically, your initial plan was not to go for this, and then you shifted towards queen side, where you got immediately shut down. Now you're trying to create some counterplay. It's very difficult to try to create counterplay towards this side. Black's plan was very simple. Right from the beginning, you want to push those pawns towards the king side, try to create an attack. You have castled, you've gotten your king to safety, and now you can go all out. And definitely it's favoring Fabi here right in this moment. A bishop to h4 was played. Now just comes queen to f2 and immediately g5. And g5 is a spectacular breakthrough that Fabi was able to get in this position. Knight to f3 in this position maybe should have been played, attacking this. You would be able to maybe trade, and maybe there will be some complications, but still, that was the best that Dariusz had in this position. But he chooses to go for this f captures on g5. And is it going to be a problem now? Because here just comes bishop captures on g5, asking for a trade. We have bishop captures, queen captures, and you can already see there are some tensions here, and your king is definitely not safe. Here knight to e2 was played. Now maybe just trying to remaneuver knight to f4, but we'll see what happens here. Rook h to g7. Now just comes knight to f4, knight to e7, and now what are you going to do in this position? Rook to b2 in this position makes a lot of sense, because you want to be able to actually put some additional line of defense, because in case the knight ever moves, or if you want to trade the knight, because there is a triple battery here and you have to be a little bit careful. Maybe knight to f8 now, knight to f1, knight to g6, and after knight captures, you play rook captures, and after this h4, just pushing the queen back, we have queen to f5, and after knight to e3, queen to d3, and it's very difficult to find this queen to d3 move, but after queen captures on f7, it makes sense. Rook 8 to g7, attacking the queen, queen to e8. Yes, you allow the queen into your camp, and it looks a lot scary. Maybe there could be some ideas here, but it's just very difficult to try and do anything, because you're going to face this knight to f5, and you can understand that there's a lot more things going on there that you're going to have to deal with as well. So black's counterplay is basically that the king is a lot weak, and white's counterplay is basically that you can always go for a perpetual if the rook ever moves. So that was the idea behind all of these things. But after knight to e7, here h4 was played immediately, but h4 immediately engine does not like. And now I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and try to find out the only winning move, or only move that gives you some sort of advantage in this position. It's not that easy to spot, but if you're able to spot it, you're really gonna be loving yourself. So here, have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is queen to h6, just moving the queen back and let those rooks roll in this position. Because now, here, once you will ask for a trade with the knights, it's going to be very difficult, because you did not choose to go for that move, rook to b2, defending your position. And now I'm going to enjoy it here. Rook to e3 was played. Now just trying to get those rooks active, but it's a bit too late. Knight to f5, and now just going for this rook to h3, and that rook on h3 is a really passive piece. Here just knight to f8, rook to e1, knight to g6, finally asking for a trade. Knight captures, rook captures, knight to f3 in this position, and here just rook captures on g2, sacrificing the queen for the two rooks. But this is going to benefit black a lot, and Fabi knows it. Here just queen captures, rook captures, king captures, and now just going in with the queen. And the thing is that those two rooks aren't even connected, and the worst of it all, you have no target to be able to get through all of these rooks, because this is coming next. You don't have those squares because knight covers it, and on top of all of these things, you don't even have space. If I'm able to eliminate this pawn, this becomes a pass pawn, your entire position collapses within seconds. So here rook to e2 was played, trying to just keep it all intact, but just king to c7, rook to e1, and king to d7. All Fabi is doing is not let those even one single rook inside his position, and that's absolutely brutal. I mean, really brutal, because you're gonna want to see your position fall apart here, and you cannot even do anything. You cannot even get a single rook in, and on top of that, Fabi is there attacking you, and cannot save your queen, cannot save your king. And yeah, this is a sad position to have. Here king to f2 was played. Now just comes queen to g4, and this just makes it worse. Here rook to h1 was played, king to e7, knight to g5, and now just comes this queen to f4 check. Here rook to f3, queen to d2, rook to f, king to f1, and just f6 in this position. E captures, king captures, and now just going for this. But here just king to e7 was played. Now just comes rook to f, king to f2, knight to e3 check, finally just jumping in with the knight. We have rook captures, sacrificing the exchange in this position, but now it's a bit too late. There is no way you can save this position. Here queen captures on e3 was played, rook to f7 check, king to e8, rook to f3, queen to c1 check, king to e2, and just e5 in this position, breaking open the position. We have d captures d4 now, and here just c captures doing all of this. So you can just create a pass pawn, and now here that pass pawn rolls, and there is not much you can do in this position. Here knight to e4 was played, but now just comes c2, knight to d6 check, king to d7, and here d5 was tried. But the thing is that d5 doesn't work, and if you're wondering does rook to f7 work, it doesn't work either, because king to c6, and what check you have in this position? You have no checks. If you try to go for knight to f5, trying to stir up some trouble here, just queen to d1 check, and you can just resign. King to f2, queen to d2 check, king to f3, c1 queen, and there is no more counterplay. There is no safe hideout for the king as well. You're gonna get checkmated in a few more moves. So that's why here d5 was tried, but that doesn't work either. Queen to d1 check, king to f2, queen to d2 check, king to g3, and queen to e1 check. King to g2 was played, and now just comes queen caps on e5, and it was on this move, on just move 60, that Dariusz Swiercz resigned the game, and Fabi got the spectacular victory finally in round 5 of the US Chess Championship. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.